Hello and greetings from Canada. I regret that I'm not able to be in Russia in person with you, but I do look forward to being in St. Petersburg and Moscow in May. What I'd like to talk to you about today is global home education and specifically home education in Canada and North America. Home education is growing around the world, and certainly not only in Canada, but in many places around the world, like Russia and South Africa, Mexico, the Philippines, and many places. Home education status around the world varies widely, where some places it is not tolerated, and some of those places include Sweden and Germany at this point. But many places around the world, including Russia, it is actively growing, and we're very encouraged to see that, and parents certainly appreciate that. Homeschool numbers are also increasing. In North America, between Canada and the United States, there's over 2.5 million home-educated students that are being educated by their parents. In other places like Brazil, it's growing very rapidly, 45,000 home-educated students. In Mexico, over 25,000. In Australia, 75,000 home-educated students. In South Africa, 50,000 home-educated students. And in the UK, approximately 50,000 home-educated students. So as you can see, it's certainly growing, and we understand that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of up to 100,000 home-educated students in Russia, and that is very exciting. Home education is misunderstood by many people, and would like to talk about that throughout my talk here today, and some of the myths that are found in home education. In Canada, home education is a provincial responsibility. Constitutionally, each province has responsibility for education, and there is no national Department of Education in Canada. In my province, the province of Manitoba, home education has always been legal from the inception of the province in 1870. The education in Manitoba requires that all students attend school, or there is an exception, unless they are attending at home or elsewhere and receiving an education that is equivalent to that in the school system. Home education around the world, we believe, is a right. It's something that is spoken of by the UN Convention, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, where it says that parents have a prior right to choose the kind of education that shall be given to their children. In my province, that right is certainly recognized, as it is in many parts of the world. There's other international conventions that speak to that universal right, that talk about the rights of parents to choose and direct the education of their children. It's a right to choose and direct the education of children, and it cuts across cultures, methods, and beliefs. It exists regardless of motivation or methodology, and there certainly are many motivations as well as methodologies that are used globally. Those are well described in two documents that I'll refer you to that come out of two global home education conferences. The first one is the Berlin Declaration, and the second being the Rio Principles. These simply cite and describe the international conventions that speak to home education and the right of parents to choose and direct their education as parents. Home education research, certainly a lot has been done, and I'd just like to summarize some of the things. First of all, home education is defined as parent-led, home-based education, and it is growing. It's actually the fastest growing educational alternative system within North America. Home-educated families save governments a lot of money. In Canada alone, the savings are over $1.5 billion in the United States. Savings to governments, because children are not in the public school system, are in the tens of billions of dollars. Home education is quickly growing in popularity among many peoples, and in North America, about 25% of homeschooled families in North America are non-white, non-Anglo-Saxon families. And demographically, a wide variety of people choose to homeschool, whether they be atheists or Christians, Mormons, conservatives, liberals, lower, high, or middle-income families, black, Hispanic, or white, parents with variable education backgrounds, whether they be PhDs or not. Many are choosing home education. Home education research shows that students typically score between 15 and 30% above the public school system in standardized achievement tests. Homeschool students score above average in achievement tests regardless of the parents' level of formal education or the family's household income. And these are very standard research findings across many, many research studies that have been done. Whether homeschool parents were ever certified teachers is not related to their children's academic achievement, and the degree of state control and regulation of home education does not contribute or is not related to academic achievement. It doesn't contribute to it. Home educated students typically score above average in SAT and ACT tests that colleges consider for admissions in Canada and the United States. And homeschool students are increasingly being actively recruited by colleges because they believe that they make excellent students. One of the biggest questions that's leveled about home education is the social aspects. Research into it indicates that home educated students are doing well and typically above average is met in measures of social, emotional, and psychological development. Research measures include peer interaction, self-concept, leadership skills, family cohesion, and participation in community events and self-esteem. And the research shows that homeschool students are regularly engaged in social and educational activity outside of their families, other than with their family members. They're commonly involved in many different activities, be that sports, be that scouting, be that field trips, be that church ministry. Research shows that adults who are home educated participate in community service more and are more likely to attend public meetings than the general population. They go to and succeed at college or at equal or higher level rates than the general population, and they internalize the values and beliefs of their parents at a very high rate. So what does the research say? Research clearly says that home education works. It results in higher test scores. There's no correlation in academic success to the education of parents or the income of parents. And more leaders or the students are more of leaders and less influenced by peers, which in today's society is very positive. There's certainly many benefits to home education, and the relationship between parents and children contributes to a healthy society in Canada, around the world, and I would encourage you to consider home education as a valid and a great alternative in education of students within your realm. Thank you.